Greetings, mortals, I am the Fallen Shogun, and AVORION has updated, which is bad news for me. I'm halfway through a series being recorded. So, AVORION is now a 2.0, which comes with a lot of differences. As you can see, I only have one thing, the 2.0.6 Galaxy. We'll talk about that in a second. But so, AVORION, what has changed? Well, when you pick a new game, you can play your older games, you'll see a difference. There's now creative play, which is infinite resources, everything's unlocked. There's free play, so you can choose whatever you like. There's classic, which is full building knowledge is unlocked for more sandbox. And then there's normal mode, which is the new default mode for AVORION. Basically, being able to use the next tier of resources is now locked. Let's have a quick talk about it. So, when you first start now, as you notice, there's a lot more fighters and things moving around stations. Then look on the left, there's milestone unlocked. Acquire building knowledge for iron. Milestone unlocked, collect iron. That's now a thing. So a few things, they have actually changed the keys around. I is now your ship individually. P is now your profile. It used to be the other way around. As you can see here, collect iron. Acquire building knowledge for iron. Collect titanium. Acquire building knowledge for titanium. You cannot build in the next tier of resources until you have the knowledge for it. So you can happily mine iron. You can happily mine titanium, but you won't know how to use titanium. You have to acquire the knowledge. And this can be done by wiping out pirate forces which have it, or by buying it. Yes, you now have to buy the tech to use. Now looking at this tree again, you can see there's a lot of different things. Claim an asteroid, found a station, mining lasers or salvaging lasers at a hangar. There's a load of achievements and things, including obviously the DLC. So you can actually push yourself to do certain things. It is sandbox, but now there's a little bit more of a guide as opposed to just the adventurer telling you what to do. Let's go quickly find some titanium and show you the next step. So here's some titanium, as you can see. I can mine it. I can have it. I've unlocked collect titanium, but I don't know what to do with it. As you can see here, titanium is a very light material. It's bare. To build blocks of material, you have to have building knowledge about it. Maybe your new contact can help you out. So you will actually need to start doing quest line to figure this out. So let's have a look. There we go. He's giving me building knowledge tier 2, just to start off with. Obviously everything else I'm going to have to get myself. But without the knowledge, I cannot do a damn thing. I can now build with titanium. The first one's free. The next set not so much. So to obviously push the neonite and get shield generators, trinium and get hangers, you're going to have to find the knowledge. Now apart from that, a load of other things have changed in game. I'm going to boot up my later game save and just kind of show you what has in fact changed. Badoosh! Now, the biggest changes you'll find are mainly when you start getting towards fleet. As you can see on the right, it's saying morale on my ships is very low, the crew is on strike. Your crew go on strike if there's a lot of them and they don't have jobs. If there's too many people in the things, they've actually retooled a huge amount of the blocks, which means all of these ships I've downloaded don't have the right amount of space. Also there's a few other issues as well. So let's quickly go check into this ship. The biggest thing you'll see is you don't need sergeants, lieutenants and commanders. They have been removed. So this ship is woefully over-equipped in the engineering department. So you see lieutenants, sergeants and recruits. So all the lieutenants and sergeants and things have been moved into the specialist pool. So as you can see, your soldiers can get ranks, you get basic recruits, sergeants, specialists, and obviously the same thing, especially 2.5 to 1.5 for the specialists as they slowly level up. So they have moved that around. You have to check some of your crew quarters. They've actually dropped the number 2. A big one I've found is if you're using the warp blocks, which you go to here, if you're using, let's have a look, you see I've also changed all of this. If you're using the hyperspace cores, one of my ships went from 15 to 7. So you'll be needing significantly more hyperspace cores to do certain jobs. That has changed. They've added one new block to the game. It's available for every single quality. You have Iron Blank Hull and the Iron Smart Hull. It's basically a blank hull, but slightly more expensive, and it upgrades your ship's processing power. Very cheap way of getting your processing power up at the early stages. Obviously, you can put it in, it actually acts like that's one processing power block. It's not much, it will slowly add it all in, but it is there. So that's now a thing that's also been added. For the actual ship itself, you can now see there's now targeting lasers. Red is no eyes on. Blue is in they can see it. Green is in they can actually fire and hit the target. So as you can see targets and what they can do. Alternative, you can see here, everything's unlocked. You pass on a legacy, you have everything acquired. But as you can see here, I'm slowly unlocking things on this a certain situation. Now, there's also an issue with captains. Captains are now an actual thing. This is a captain tier 0 who specialise when they reach level 5. Each of your captains now has a name. They have level up experience. They're going to have positive and negative perks. Obviously these are from the previous version. These are tier 0s who will get a specialisation. So they can specialise in being more useful at mining, fighting, leading fleets, salvaging. There are specialisations for each of those. I think there's 7 specialisations in total. There are also tier 3 legendary commanders, only they are a lot harder to find. Legendary commanders, of course, have a lot more positive than negative perks. And of course, the higher you level them up on those tiers, the more useful they become. So tier 0 is useless, it's trash. And obviously that is what's going to happen to all of your older commanders. So you want to look for really good officers. Now, like I said, your crew can rebel if they don't have enough space. So everyone here is working. There is no space available, or you saw on the side some of my people are rebelling a little bit, so they won't actually work. Now, the prices of the crew have also gone up a little bit. I'm now spending $500,000, so keep an eye on that too. Now, subsystems. Processing power has altered quite significantly, as you can see. So I think they've lowered it down. They've also changed equipment. Equipment is another change. We'll go through that. Let's go for DPS. So, before you had certain weaponry, actually should be doing this, build. Before they had certain weaponry and stuff before, now it's specialised types. So this is an older version, the iron salvaging turret, as you can see. This is an efficient, double purifying salvager. Efficient means it's more efficient. There's long range, which means it has better range at firing. There's reliable, which means it does more damage. There's now modifiers to all of the weaponry. So as you can see, which are the old ones, which are the new ones. So every single weapon, you can have the exact same gun, the same purifying salvager, let's say. Some will do more damage. Some might have more range. Some might be burst fire. There are burst fire weaponry out there now too. So there are now modifiers to every single weapon out there. Now the main priority of this thing has been your fleet, which is very important. We'll quickly go through that. So you can still give orders and commands to your stuff on the map as you can anyway. You have your in there, you can tell them to do things. If I can go to here, I can just tell them to move around, but there's also other things as well. So I'm going to tell the Lofi, which is here, to procure items. This means it will pick up items within this sector. As you can see, it'll pick up goods you can then choose. And it'll always buy stuff within this zone. And it sees what the captain, who's Edot. You can mine. This is a mining square, as you can see over here. So they're not actually mining the systems, they're mining around the area. So there's a massive mining 2-hour system here for this mining ship, which is currently in the sector. It doesn't exist, they go off on expeditions off of the map. There is another one over here. So the nuke over here is doing a salvage mission. They are finding salvage of dead ships. They're not doing it within the sectors themselves. It's a nebulous expedition where your ship is out there doing it. When they find resources, they will then send you this. As you can see, there is 4 minutes left on this mining expedition. This one here has found 1.64 thousand resources, 2 turrets, and that. Let's quickly grab that. So if you want to go do something, I'll quickly do this. Let's actually bring in this one. Actually, Lofi. Now you can refine things within this area, as you can see. This shows you what's going on. A bit meh. You can procure things, you can sell things, you can trade. You can do a supply factory run. You can do expeditions, but these are actually very hard to do. An expedition is an adventure which can only be done outside of owned systems. As you can see here, there's a friendly and an enemy system here. I can't do it. you have to go really quite far out of the known systems because there has to be a pure black space because they can't have anything to find. You can choose the time, and it shows you how much ambush possibility, how many adventures you'll get, how much resources per adventure. The longer you're out, the more you get, of course. Yes, it'll get me quite a lot, and you can actually add extra ships to it. I can add the Welsh in, and it should hopefully drop the ambush chances, you can see, by 1%. So that's expeditions. You can also do scouting. If I quickly go over here, see this? These systems can get scouted. This entire area down here was done by a scouting mission. See that private note? Uncovered by Captain Plord. If I want to, I can go scout and go over here, go check it. Now, as you can see, there's a big grey area here. They could probably do an expedition. But here, as you can see here, 18 minutes, it'll find hidden mass sectors, it'll do a scouting, and that is done. They are now scouting the system for everything available. They will find all hidden sectors, which is very good and very easy for expeditions. It's actually quite a massive improvement. Obviously, you can do scrap, mining, scouting, travel, basic attack, patrol, the usual stuff, and obviously restock. Restock will actually pick up torpedoes further in the system. So your actual fleets are now significantly more useful, which is actually a pretty major thing. So expeditions of all the types, your crew have changed. A big one, which the actual changes I'm going to show you now. They've changed how turrets work, which is actually quite a big one. Before, you could have your turrets auto fire, it would be fine. You know, you had, say, 10 armed turrets, 5 unarmed turrets, and say 2 nebulous ones, which could be either. They have altered that a lot. We're going to go talk about it. So right now I've got this legendary installed. It gives me, as you can see, 10 armed turret slots, 6 auto turret slots. Auto turrets are no longer by default. You have to turn them on. See this? Toggle auto fire. So you can see that? Toggle auto fire. They are now auto firing targets. So I've still got a load of auto firing weapon systems and things on my ship. Those will now mean I'm firing that. I'll quickly go show you. Also, jumping has changed. So you know how there's usually a jumping timer? Jumping is now separate. You now have to charge your jump drive. You then have to fly towards it and hold it down. If you actually look at the bottom, the yellow bar at the bottom left is your battery power. The little green bar underneath is your generated power. When you're doing a jump, it will go through a generated and battery power. You have to hold it down for that long to actually use it. So you're going to require a lot of power stored. So hyperdrives now require power to charge, power to use. So make sure you have the power to go in on your current ships. A lot of my old ship designs cannot actually jump out of the system yet. I've had to put a lot more battery power in so they can actually do that. That's a bit of a problem. Okay, so as I said, now with the new changes, it now means you don't need independent fire weapon systems because everything is now an independent firing weapon system, apparently. Because it means once you get it all set up, let's have a look. Are they firing automatically? Yeah, they are. As you can see, they're firing automatically. Which is good. Are they beneath me? So you won't be needing as many weapon systems actually on the ship. It does, however, mean you have another thing to work with. Yes, because they are actually firing. There we are. So every weapon can now be automated. As you can see, every weapon can be automated. Well, however, there's a problem with that. Quickly go to the build so it stops shooting. I just put it on easy mode. So, with that in mind, any weapon can be made auto-fire. You only have so many auto-fire. To get more auto-fire, you have to permanently install the slots. And that comes with another slight issue. As you can see here, this is a permanent armed turret slot, auto turret slot. If I actually take one of these and put it down, as you can see on this one, you now need it for defensive turret slots. Defensive turret slots are your point defense guns. You now actually need to install your turret control systems to actually have auto-defensive turrets. If I want to put, let's see, there shouldn't be anything installed on here, to put a point defense on here, as you can still got the older stuff on here, I might not be able to. Let's see, put one in, put another in. Can I put another one in? See that? No slots for defensive turrets. Install turret subsystems of your ship to increase the number of turrets. So I can only have 1 point defense turret. So to actually have good point defense against missiles, you're going to have to permanently install turrets, which means you can't take things off on the fly anymore. See, I see auto fire that one. So you can't take things off on the fly. Once they're installed, they are installed. So automated weapon systems have now changed. Anything can be automated. Defensive turrets have changed. To actually use them properly, you're going to need to install them. But of course, to have them auto fire, you're going to have to install that too. So that's one of the big, massive changes. Crew, how ships work in fleets, and how your weapons work on you. So you're going to have to get used to that. I'm having trouble, but yeah. Turrets changing, weapons changing, fleets changing, and the captains now having personalities of being able to give orders. There is also a few changes with your fighters too. Your pilots now stay on your ship. Your ship fighters are now slightly more intuitive and will try not to kill themselves as much. But the biggest changes you saw is how fleets work on the overall map, how systems work, as you saw here with the whole armed turret slots, defensive turret slots and auto turret slots, how your crew works, how your captains work and level up. You will definitely want to start finding legendary captains, and how your fleets interact. So that is absolutely everything. 2.0 has massively shaken up how things are going. The biggest bit, I think, for the brand new players will be this. Slowly unlocking knowledge for each and everything and slowly building up to it. Have I really not found any trinium? Very weird. But yeah, 2.0 out now. Massive, massive changes to the whole system. Of course, the big one for me is I have a series running and I've already done 8 episodes. So this has screwed me over. Hopefully you guys will not get screwed over. I personally have to refix my flagship. It no longer flies from one system to another until I get some battery in it again. And also add an extra 8 jump because it's now stuck in the depths of space. But anyway, 2.0 out now. New fleets, new fighting, new turrets, new commands, slightly changed campaign. Enjoy!